Thank you, Rachna. I forgot about this. Okay, so it is impossible to talk about what exercise does to our bodies if we don't talk about stress. We have to first understand what stress does to our bodies, and then only will it make sense about what exercise, how exercise counters. So we will look at the human stress response first, and then we will go on to talk about the impact of exercise on stress, mental health, the other benefits, and then we will come to the what, how long, and when of exercise and overcoming barriers to exercising. Okay, so before we go on, I have a poll here. I want Rachna, are you here? Okay, yes, I found the poll. Yes, sorry. This poll is, can you see my poll? Can you see the poll?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to know what you do right now. Are you exercising at all, or do you have good intentions but rarely get to it? No good intentions, no exercise, nothing. This is very interesting. Okay, 12 out of the 15 people have voted. I'm going to end the poll now because I don't want to waste time leaving it on. Okay, here you go. So it's very good to know that 42% of the people sitting here exercise 30 minutes 5 times a day, which is excellent, which is what WHO says is the ideal amount everybody should be exercising. There's one person who does a couple of times a week, but not enough. And 50%, and most of us have good intentions, but we rarely get down to doing it. Okay, so we are looking at what stress does to your bodies first, to understand what exercise will do to counter it. So when we are stressed, so our bodies have a predetermined reaction to stress. This whole response that is set in when we are stressed is been in our systems, in our bodies for generations, centuries. It is the caveman's reaction to stress. Our bodies have evolved in a lot of ways, but a reaction to stress is what it was for the caveman, for when this human body took the current shape it has. So what it does is, whether it is a stressful telephone call that you get, or whether it is your manager saying that you need to the deadline for a project has moved up, or when your your children's school principal calls and says that your child has been misbehaving in school, or your mother-in-law calls and says that she's visiting, no matter what the stressor is, our body reacts to it the same way as it has reacted for thousands of generations, which is how it would react when a tiger is attacking us. So the physical responses that a body goes through is the same for a tiger attacking, for your deadline deadline being moved up. So what happens then is, so there are two systems. There's the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is what is set in place when there is a stressor. So when you get that telephone call from whoever it is that causes you stress, you have an entire chain reaction of activation being done, and that is a sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system is when you finish attacking the tiger, you've driven the tiger off, and you are relaxing, and that is the entire activation that was done when you were attacking the tiger or when you were defending yourself from the tiger is stopped, and your body begins to relax and set other systems in place to make sure that you are repairing the damage from the fights. We are the opposite of what happened when the tiger was attacking you. So what happens when the tiger does attack you? Let's start with the eyes. Your pupils dilate. Why do they dilate? Because you need to see better. More information should be going in through your pupils into your retina, into the brain, so that you are very aware of everything in the visual field. The same thing goes for your auditory senses. You listen better. Your heart starts pumping faster. Why? Because the oxygen in the blood needs to be taken to the muscles very fast. So your heart starts pumping faster. Your blood needs oxygen to be taken to the muscles. Where does it get the oxygen from? From rapid breathing. So you start breathing rapidly. Your muscles need oxygen. Lots of oxygen goes into your muscles because your muscles are ready to act. Your action is two. You either fight the tiger or you run away from the tiger. So the muscles in your legs get activated, muscles in your shoulders get activated because you're attacking you're fighting with your hands, and that is your shoulders. What else? Your digestive system is not required. Digestion is not of importance when you are fighting a tiger. So your digestive system is suppressed. However, the liver is pumping a lot of glucose into the blood. Your insulin is suppressed. A lot of glucose is being pumped into your blood. Why? Because glucose is energy. You need energy to fight or to run away. So for whatever purpose you need energy, glucose is the energy. Your reproductive system is being suppressed. Why? Again, like digestion, reproduction is not the immediate goal when you're fighting the tiger. So some systems are activated, some systems are not. Blood, a lot of anticoagulants are pumped into your blood. Why? Because you should not bleed and die when you are fighting a tiger. Your blood moves away from the skin moves away from the skin and goes to other parts of the body. Why? Because again, your skin should not be hypersensitive. You should not feel pain on your skin, and also you should not bleed a lot when you get cut. So these are some of the systems that are set in place when your body gets activated when a tiger is attacking you. And parasympathetic nervous system is the exact opposite. Your digestion goes up, your reproduction goes up, everything else comes down to a normal. And all of this is achieved through hormones. There are two main hormones which is a part of your human stress response. It is adrenaline and glucocorticoids. These are the hormones which is pumped into your blood in large quantities, which makes all of the earlier things possible. Your eyes dilating, your heart pumping faster, your breathing becoming faster. So the glucocorticoids and adrenaline is responsible for all of this. And there are other hormones also that goes up, like glucogen and beta endorphin, and some hormones which are not needed, the growth hormone. So which is very interesting because children who grow up in a very stressful home environment actually grow lesser. Their height, if you look at the height, is less than what it could have been because growth hormone is reduced when you are stressed. Insulin is reduced, reproductive hormones are reduced. So let me take a pause here because I was talking physiology. Does everybody understand? Is everybody with me? Any thoughts? Any questions? Any doubts? Please feel free to interrupt me. Please ask me any clarifications when it happens. You don't have to wait for the end of the session. If it is something that's going to be covered at the end of the session, I will tell you that it's going to be covered, but you can ask me any doubts, any clarifications at any point. Okay, great. And I also like to say something at this point. If you can turn your videos on, I would greatly appreciate it. Right now, I'm talking to myself and I'm not enjoying that very much. So if I can see some other faces that I can talk to, I would appreciate it. But I also understand that you might be taking this session from work and other places where it's not possible, and that's fine. But if you can, please turn your videos on. Okay, so where are we? We spoke about the hormones. So now what stress does. So all of this system is a perfect system. You have to appreciate the evolution or God or whoever you believe is behind all of this, because the system is a perfect system for when a tiger is attacking you. Your body reacts in the most wonderfully perfect way. However, life being what it is and evolution being what it is, we've evolved a lot from tigers attacking us. Stressors right now, like I said, is phone calls, it is deadlines, it's emails, it's children, it's spouses, it's in-laws, it's a lot of intangible things. So how does that affect you? So instead of fighting a tiger or running away from a tiger where there's a short burst of action and it goes back to normalcy, the stressors now come and stay. They come and they stay for weeks, for months. So that action When you're either running away or you're fighting, your body is physically engaged. Our body now, with the current stressors, do not get that physical engagement. And nor is the stressor going away. Your deadline, your work pressure stays like that for days, for weeks, for months. Your in-laws come and stay for weeks. Your children are misbehaving and they're misbehaving on and off and on and off. The stressors are not going away. So when our body is in this activated state for long periods of time, what happens to our bodies? Any guesses? Any thoughts about what happens to our body? Is anybody listening to me? Body becomes weak, yes. Weak, definitely weak, yes. High cholesterol, BP, yes, yes. Both of which are yes. Any other thoughts? I think all disorders that we in the current 21st century, what the disorders that are called lifestyle disorders, everything that you're going through has roots in stress. Anything. Your cardiovascular health, because your BP is high. Why is your BP high? Your BP is high because more blood is needed. The blood needs to move with oxygen faster. So your BP is high. It's very good that the BP is high when we are fighting off a tiger, but BP being constantly, regularly high BP. Now people in their late 20s have to take medication for blood pressure. Never before. Cholesterol high. Diabetes. So it's not, I mean, I'm simplified it in a lot of ways. I've simplified my understanding of it, and then my understanding is further simplified so that I can express it. But it's not just about insulin being pumped in. So insulin goes down, and when insulin goes down, there's more glucose in your blood. But the relationship is not as simple as that. It's a complicated relationship between insulin levels being high and low, and sugar levels being high and low. So it's a little complicated relationship, but the end result of it is that there is a lot more, your insulin system is not working well, and there's a lot more blood sugar in your blood, much more than you need at any point, which leads to premature diabetes. Diabetes is one of those disorders that if you take 4-5 generations up, people, your great grandparents, diabetes was not a concern then. Very rarely did it happen. However, if you look at the current generation, with each generation, the number of diabetics have gone up. And they're saying that by 2025, so this was a research UN prediction that came out, I think, in 2018. So I'm not very sure what the current status is, but in 2018, they said by 2025, diabetes would be the biggest killer in as far as people go. So I'm not really sure about what the current status is, but what it shows is that the number of people who have diabetes is increasing drastically with each generation. And its roots is completely in the way our body reacts to the psychological stress that we have. Gastrointestinal health. Again, because your gastric juices are reduced because you're in a stress, because again, digestion is not very important when you're fighting off a tiger. Digestion is all over the place. So it works there are two aspects to it. One aspect is that the digestion is all over the place because of the stress, because of the stress hormones. And that results in bloating, that results in ulcers, all kinds of issues. The other aspect of it is that the food that we eat, large chunk of the population, when they're stressed, eat more. And that has to do with some kind of the regulation, our internal food regulatory methods. Again, very complicated, and I'm not very sure I understand it completely to explain very in detail. But it is basically because we eat more when we are stressed, and we eat junk when we are stressed. And there's a very interesting reason as to why we eat particularly junk when we are stressed, and that is because carbohydrates bring down the stress hormones. So the glucocorticoids are reduced if you eat carbs, which is why when you're stressed, what you are craving is chocolate cake or burgers or chips. It's junk. You're not craving broccoli or dal. You're craving junk. You don't want, I mean, you eat more, but if somebody gives you broccoli, you're not going to eat it. Why? Because you need the carbs. So that is a good strategy our body uses in high stress situations. But when we are constantly stressed and we are constantly eating carbohydrates to reduce the stress levels, that again impacts our gastrointestinal health considerably. Reproduction. Again, research is showing that more and more, with each generation, more and more people have infertility issues. And again, it's direct reaction to the stress levels that they are in. So when you're stressed, it works in a lot of ways. So when a man is stressed, there is decreased sperm production. The sperm that is produced has low viability and has low life. And there is premature ejaculation, and there is impotence. So all of it increases. So the chance that there is a healthy sperm that makes its way up to a woman's uterus is become much less. And for women, you produce less eggs. When you are stressed, miscarriages are very high. And interestingly, it is not one, I mean, this is new information for me. It is not one stressful event that causes a miscarriage. It is a series of stressful events which, lead up to a miscarriage. So this whole thing of, when one stressful event can cause a miscarriage is not, that doesn't usually happen. It is a buildup of stress. And when when a woman is under stress, there's less blood that goes to the placenta, through the placenta to the baby. So all kinds of systems are in place. And again, less healthy eggs, less interest in sex. Sex becomes less pleasurable when you are stressed. So what does that do? The chances of you producing a healthy egg and having a sexual intercourse at a time when the egg is healthy becomes much lower than otherwise. And coupled with the male reproductive problems which happens as a result of stress, for an egg to get fertilized, it's really a miracle now, which is why more and more couples are facing infertility issues as we go on. Immune system is again a system that is not required at the moment when you're fighting a tiger. So the immune system goes down. But again, it's not a simple stress goes up, immunity goes down connection. After a point, the immune system goes into an overdrive. And when the immune system goes into an overdrive, it attacks human healthy cells, thinking it is viruses and bacteria. And what condition is that? That is autoimmune disorders. Again, very fast growing group of disorders among the population right now. Autoimmune disorders happens because, again, the immunity goes into overdrive because of stress. And also in the short term, the immunity goes down. So lots more colds, fevers, all kinds of viruses that go around you, you catch because your immunity is down in the short term. And in the long term, it goes on an overdrive, which results in autoimmune disorders. Cancer. More and more research is showing that stress, the likelihood of getting cancer is higher if there's a lot of stress. And when a person is stressed during the time when there is a cancer in the body, those cancer tumors grow much, much faster and quicker and bigger because of the stress hormones. So it works both ways. Again, cancer is so much more widespread now than it has ever been. I mean, you could say that maybe a lot of cancer was misdiagnosed 50 years ago. I mean, we didn't have enough the medical resources to identify that it was cancer. But even then, the number of people getting cancer with each passing decade is significantly higher. So it's not just illnesses. Even daily life is affected by high levels of stress, learning and memory. You find it difficult to learn new information. You find it difficult to retain information that has been learned. So both your learning and memory is affected. The sustained stress for long periods of time is a high trigger for early onset of Alzheimer's, early onset of dementia, all kinds of issues. So hypothalamus is an area which is associated with learning and memory. With continuous stress, the size of the hypothalamus goes down. It's actually the size goes down. There are physical changes. And with exercise, the size goes up. We will discuss that later. Yeah, so the impact of stress is extremely high, no matter what you look at. So this is just, some of the things, but I'm telling you, I think that any illness that you're talking about right now, any disorder, anything that you're going through right now, if you look at it, it possibly has roots in stress. Stress is possibly making it worse, even if it's not directly responsible for it. And a lot of the current metabolic disorders, what they call the metabolic disorders, the lifestyle disorders, which people get in their 20s, 30s, 40s, is all directly due to the amount of stress in their lives. So now, if I've scared you enough about what stress does to your bodies, the antidote to all of that, and the reason we are here, is exercise. So what does exercise do? So remember, we started off with the story of the tiger attacking you. So when the tiger attacks you and you either fight back or you run away, your body is getting action. So what your body requires when you are stressed is a physical action, physical release of the energy, physical release of the hormones, which will bring it back to normalcy, which will trick your body into thinking, oh, okay, I've attacked the tiger, I've run away from the tiger, I'm safe, and I don't need my sympathetic nervous system to be active anymore. And that is by exercise. So when you exercise, your stress hormones, the adrenaline and the glucocorticoids, go down. So the next time you find yourself very stressed, very worried, you're worried about your job, you're worried about the amount of work that you have to do, about your children, about your spouse, go for a walk, a fast, heart-pounding kind of walk, or go play, or any kind of exercise, but at the very least of it, go for a walk and come back and you will see it go down. You will feel the stress go down. Increase in dopamine and endorphin. Endorphins are the happy hormones, and dopamine is also a happy hormone. So so the people who said, the 42% people who answered that they exercise regularly in this group, can you tell me, do you feel that endorphin kicking in when you start exercising? Maybe about 20 minutes in, whether you are running or whether you are working weights at the gym. Can anybody who answered that are you still here? Can somebody answer that about how you feel?
Rebecca, Basanti here.
Hi, Basanti.
Yeah, hi. Yes. Regular exercise, which I've started to do now on a regular basis, I feel really good. I mean, I feel more, I would say calmer also, but more cheerful, even till the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I do think exercise helps a lot.
Yeah. So the impact is not just when you exercise. Thank you, Basanti. And Basanti, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Basanti is one of our senior counselors, and she's been doing so much of exercise. She recently walked a 5K for a good cause in CMC Vellore. So Basanti is somebody I'm very proud of, and somebody I'm extremely happy is reaping the benefits of exercise now. And she's not somebody, again, not to put you on the spot again, Basanti, but she's not somebody who's been exercising for a very long time. She is somebody who started exercising, in the last couple of years. It's not like all her life she's been doing it. And she's started a very good routine. Yeah. Sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying something here. Yeah, so again, the point is, with Basanti's example, I want to say is there's no, you don't have to always be doing it to start doing it. You can do it at any time in your life, any phase in your life. You can do it in your 20s, you can do it in your 30s, you can do it in your 60s. It does not matter. What is important is that you start doing it. And yeah, so that is something that I should have said at the end of the session. But as far as stress goes, you're giving your body the reaction, the ending to a stressful situation that your body wants, body requires, so that the parasympathetic nervous system can set in place and your body can relax. And that is what exercise does. Also, in addition to a lot of happy hormones, because of the happy hormones that are produced, it all happens with the help of hormones. So you actually feel, like Basanti was saying, reduction in the stress levels. And somebody else has written in the group that they feel less tired by the end of the day and they are more energetic during the morning. Yeah. So that energy peak that goes up carries on. The energy, the mood, everything, the hormones set in place in the morning because of the exercise you do in the morning is carried throughout the day. So it's not just your stress levels, your mental health. There's a lot of research which shows that depression in particular, I mean, there are a lot of mental health conditions which are benefited with the help of exercise, but depression requires a slide in itself because depression is greatly influenced, greatly brought down with the help of exercise. In fact, doctors now prescribe exercise as a part of the medication routine. Exercise does a better job than actual psychotropic medication for mild to moderate depression. So when you exercise, depression goes off. So it shows that a person who's had a depressive episode, if there is exercise, there is less chance of a relapse. And if there is a relapse, the time period between two episodes is far greater if a person's exercising. So exercise does wonders for depression. And like I said, it's not just depression, it's a lot of other mental health conditions also. There's anxiety, there's ADHD, there's PTSD, all of which is brought down with the help of exercise. In fact, again, ADHD, for children with ADHD, exercise and being physically active is extremely highly recommended. In fact, with just medication, and there's medication and physical activity together, the combination works far better than just medication for a child with ADHD. And there's also a lot of other benefits. I'm not we were talking about the physical aspect of it. We are psychologists, we are not medical doctors. However, we do know that there's reduction in the fat stores, there's increase in muscle mass, cardiovascular health. So it is not just about the removal of adrenaline and glucocorticoids, which is affecting your heart and your cardiovascular system. It is the exercise itself, not just with the reduction of the bad hormones, but exercise itself and the increased cardiovascular output which happens as a result of exercise helps in maintaining cardiovascular health. So recently there was a joke that was going around WhatsApp groups. I don't know whether many of you read it, about how the doctor, it's a joke, a doctor saying that exercise doesn't help with living longer because your heart is good for so many pumps, and when you are like a car, so you don't necessarily race the car to make the car last longer. So exercise is using up the limited number of pumps that your heart has, which is just a joke. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking what exercise does with the car analogy is to maintain the car in good condition. So a car that is regularly maintained, where the oil and the lubricants are regularly replaced and then the engines are regularly checked, works far better and lasts far longer than a car which has no maintenance. So exercise works as maintenance in keeping the heart healthy, and not just your heart, your lungs, your entire cardiovascular system. Reduction of diabetes. Again, doctors say diabetics need to work. Diabetes, cholesterol, BP, anything that you have, the first thing that doctors will tell you is to exercise. Why? Because, for all the reasons that we've spoken about. And like somebody was saying in the group, and I think like Basanti was saying, energy during the day is far more when you exercise. Days that you exercise and the days you don't exercise, you can see the difference. And you sleep better. So let me just pause here and ask if there are thoughts. Is everybody still with me?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. So the what, how long, and the when of exercise. What should you be doing? Brisk walk or higher. Anything that makes your heart pump faster. So when you're walking, So walking fine? Walking is fine. You can walk. But if you're walking and you're chatting with a friend and you're walking, that is good socialization. Walking with friends is great. But if you're able to have a conversation while you're walking, that doesn't count as brisk walk. So for all the mental, physical health benefits of exercise and the stress level going down, it cannot be the chatty to having a conversation kind of walk. It has to be a brisk walk where you cannot talk. You're breathing faster. So, but it can be anything. I start off with a walk, but age no bar. You can run, you can swim, you can play badminton, you can play basketball, you can go to the go to the gym and lift weights. You can join group classes. Now it's so much more easily available than it was, say, 5 years ago. There are gyms everywhere. There are group classes being held everywhere. Every society will have a Zumba instructor coming in, or other people who will help with group classes. So it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do it and as long as you're moving. Minimum 30 days, 5 days a week is what they say. So it should add up to a cumulative 150 minutes a week is what WHO recommends as ideal for your heart. Cardio versus strength training is a question that we often get. Both has its benefit, and I would say in an ideal workout routine, you need both. Cardio is where you breathe faster. Cardio is running, cycling, swimming, anything where you are, running, you're playing basketball, all of that is cardio, where you're breathing faster. Strength training is what you do with weights. Ideally, you should do both. A week should have 2 days of cardio, 3 days of weights, whatever combination. However, with like I say, for running and jogging, you don't need anybody else. You can, you don't need special equipment. You don't need anything else. You should just go out and walk or run. But with strength training, please do it with the advice of a personal trainer, because strength training, doing weights, is a very easy way to injure yourself if you're not doing it right. You need to watch your form. You need to have somebody watching your form. So do it with the help of a trainer. But everything else, you can do it by yourself. Solitary versus group activities, both have benefits. Solitary activities like running, swimming, cycling has been compared to meditation. It's actually called moving meditation, where you have time to think and you're focusing on your breathing, you're focusing on your steps, and you're doing it, and that is akin to meditation. And introspection, it gives you time to think. It helps you center yourself. My boss used to say that she used to get her wonderful ideas about what to do at work when she's walking in the morning. So walk can be a good time for getting new ideas, being fresh and thinking. Group activities, of course, is a lot more fun, when you're playing some game with your friends, when you're meeting the same group of people twice a week for badminton, for basketball, whatever it is, it's lots of fun. And group activities have more chances of you sticking to a routine, because people are waiting for you. People will suffer if you don't go. So you go. So group activities have that benefit. Again, ideally, you can do a mixture of solitary and group activities. That is fun. Morning versus evening. All research says that morning is better than evening. However, evening is better than nothing at all. You can, if the only time you get is in the afternoon, it's in the evening, you can exercise in the evening. However, make sure that there's at least 3 hours gap between the finish of your exercise and your bedtime, because this whole activation and the endorphins and the happy hormones that we were talking about will make it difficult for you to sleep. Exercise does improve sleep quality as long as sleep is not coming soon after exercise. You need a little bit of time gap, and then you're at least 3 hours and your sleep is better. Morning is infinitely better because, like, again, we've discussed, your energy levels are high during the day, your metabolic rate is high during the day, your mood is better during the course of the day. So if you can exercise in the morning, that is the best option. Before we look at the barriers to exercise, let me just check with the polls. One sec. Okay, yeah, hold on. One second. Okay, here's a poll about what stops you from exercise. So this is for the 50% of the people who said that they want to exercise, but they can't. Excuses is anything, any reason that you come up with. You know. Fear of judgment, health conditions, lack of enjoyment, lack of time. Uh, 56 people have voted so far, which means a large population hasn't. So I'm just going to keep it open for another 5 seconds and then I'm going to close. So please vote. Okay, ending poll now. Let's look at the results. Excuses is 82%. So this is again, I had given multiple choice option possible. So then people could have voted more than one column. So excuses is a large chunk, followed by, I mean, more or less the same. Lack of time being another big chunk. Lack of enjoyment, health conditions, fear of judgment, all being present. Okay, so let's look at the barriers. Lack of time is a very common excuse. So what do you do if you just don't have the time? You want to exercise, but you just don't have the time. So take it in small chunks. Don't do 1 hour a day. Don't do 30 minutes a day. When you have your lunch break, go for a quick walk around the floor. When you come back to work, get off the cab a few feet away, 100 meters away, 200 meters away, and walk the remaining. Try and squeeze physical activity. Take the stairs instead of the lift. Is a big help. I mean, most of us live in apartments, and take the stairs. If you live on the 20th floor, kudos. Or if you live on the second floor, take the stairs up and down for a few times. But try and squeeze it into your day. I mean, we fail with the lack of time when we think, oh, I have to put aside 1 hour for exercising. Oh, I have to put aside 1.5 hours with the changing and the shower and all of that together, 1.5 hours for exercising. And we don't have 1.5 hours to spend a day. Don't. Spend what you can, but put it into your day. Always choose something which is fun. I've heard lack of enjoyment as a excuse for people who do weights and have to go to the gym and do weights with a trainer. Okay, so don't do weights then, or do weights in a group. Cult has group activities with weights, so do that. Or play a game, play badminton, go for a swim, find out an exercise which you enjoy and do that. Shift the kind of exercises that you're doing. Health conditions, so when people have pains, their knees are weak. So let me tell you, my knees are weak. I've had 2 falls in my youth, both of which didn't create problem at that time, but the doctor said at that point that when you are in your 30s, your knees will start hurting, and they did. When I was 35, my knees started acting up, and they've been acting up ever since. And I have to take a lot of care with a lot of exercises. So I can't do squats as well as I should, and I can't do lunges as well as I should. I can do no jumping stuff, jumping lunges and all of that I cannot do. So there is I work within it. I still run. I've learned, quad strengthening exercises which support the knees, which makes the knees stronger, and, figure it out. So if you're worried about your particular condition, work with a personal trainer. A personal trainer will tell you how to work around it. But for most health conditions, so there is a warning that you usually see which says consult a doctor before you start exercising. I would say the other way, consult a doctor before you stop, when you stop exercising. Because when you start exercising, start small. And if it's something that is really bothering you, talk to a doctor, talk to a personal trainer who will tell you what to do. But even pains, even people with leg pains, people with knee problems, the research has shown that they will function far better with exercise than without. So a person who has arthritis, their quality of life and their mobility is far better if they are doing the exercise that is suited to them. It could be just walking, but if they're still walking, their arthritic pain is far lesser than otherwise. So even with a lot of health conditions, you can still exercise. You should still exercise because the quality of your life will increase. Your mobility will increase. Your pain will decrease if you exercise. But talk to a doctor, to work with a personal trainer to figure out what kind of exercises is suited for you. Fear of judgment. There's so much of the gym wear that is right now. What people wear when they're exercising. You can feel that you're most unsuited for that kind of clothes, and you don't have to wear those clothes. You can exercise as well in a kurta, and as long as your tights or your whatever you're wearing, comfortable leggings underneath. There's no judgment. Do what suits you. And if you're still uncomfortable in going to a gym and working out, because everybody's working out so much better and they're lifting heavy weights and everybody's running 10K, and it's so good and everybody's so good. And here I am 50 years old, not exercised in the last 20 years. What do? Hundreds of videos on YouTube that you can start doing at home, or do something in a place that is you're comfortable with, in the gym, in your residence, in your association, your what is that called, your gated colony, your complex. You don't have to go out to a gym. Figure out something where you're comfortable in. Wear clothes that you're comfortable in. Don't cave into the peer pressure of wearing all kinds of fancy gym clothes. You don't have to do that. And of course, excuses. If you're looking for excuses, there are 1,001 reasons why you should not get out of the bed tomorrow morning to work out. You could have had a late night. You could have had not enough sleep. Just that half an hour more of sleep will make you feel so much better, make your day go better. I will exercise in the evening. It is too hot. It is too cold. We can have all kinds of reasons. My leg is hurting. I did a leg day yesterday. My leg is hurting. I need to rest. No. If you did a leg day yesterday and your leg is hurting, don't do a leg day today, but do something. So we can find excuses for as long as, there could be excuses that I haven't mentioned at all or I haven't thought of, and we can still find excuses, but we know that they're just excuses. And what we need to do is to figure out a way we can overcome the excuses. Set realistic goals. Don't set off from zero to thinking, oh, I will do a 5K. I will run a 5K tomorrow. No, you're not going to run a 5K tomorrow if you haven't been running at all. You will run for 2 minutes and you will think, oh my God, this is so tough. My legs are hurting. Let me stop. And when we set realistic goals, we think, oh, I can't even run to 5K. I'm too ashamed. I'm not going to run anymore. Start off by running half a kilometer. Start off by running 2 minutes, walking 1 minute. Or start off by running 1 minute, walking 2 minutes. Small goals. Make your goals bigger. And there's a lot of apps that help you with it. I'm using running as an example, but they will look at what your current exercise level and they will tell you this is what you need to do this. And you're planning to exercise 5 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever it is, you type that in and it will tell you exactly what your walking routine or walking times, your running time, whatever it should be is. So there's a lot of technological help out there. Use it and set realistic goals, small goals, achievable goals. Start off with from places that you succeed. Don't say, I will do something that you cannot and set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for success so that you feed off the success and slowly make the goals bigger. Find a fun activity. It should always be fun. So I keep talking about this example about, and I'm sorry if you've heard it before, and I think I did this last talk during the pandemic time, so I'm sure I must have said it at that time. But during the pandemic, I was locked in my parents' flat in Kerala, and I had this group of friends there we were all working out together. So every morning from 6:30 to 8:30, there were 3 or 4 of us. It started with 3, ended being 4 of us who would meet every day and do exercises. We would do weights, we would run, we would swim, we would go cycling, we would do all kinds of things. But we were very active and it was fun because I was doing it with friends. And the 2 years there, I was the fittest I've ever been in my life because every day it was fun for me. I was to look forward to waking up and going and working out, going and cycling at that point. One point we were cycling a lot and that was so much fun. So figure out what is fun And it's usually something that is in a group with friends. So if you live in a society, talk to your other friends in the society, figure out something fun that all of you can do together. Make it convenient. Don't think if I have time tomorrow, I will go. No, you will not have time tomorrow. Fix it into your schedule. Work your schedule around it. So if something else happens between 7 and 8, or if there's some other demand on your time, make it before 7, after 8, or whatever your workout time is. Fix it into your schedule. And like I said, do it with somebody else. It's always more fun to do it with somebody else. You keep each other accountable. You turn up more. You get out of that bed. You're in bed and you're thinking, oh, if only I could sleep 5 more minutes. I don't want to exercise, but oh, my friend will be waiting for me, so I have to go. That is the reason why a friend is important. Track your progress. Be it the number of minutes you walk, be it the speed with which you walk in, be it the weights that you lift, whatever your fitness goals are. Be it your weight. I don't want to make exercise about your weight, but weight is something that you can track. Exercise is so much more than weight. So I'm not equating exercise to weight, but weight is something that you can track. Track your progress and reward yourself. Give yourself credit to sticking to a routine. Rewarding yourself can be, buying fancier shoes to run with. If you run, I have done that once. I've said that if I run in 1 month, I set off to run 100 kilometers. And I said, if I can finish running 100 kilometers in that January 2021, I think, I said, I will buy myself a fancy new pair of shoes at the end of it. And which is what I did. I was running for the shoes. And, it doesn't have to be shoes. It can be anything that makes you happy. Take yourself out for a meal. Go out with your workout buddies at the end of a month of regular workout. It can be anything. And of course, if you're still struggling, if I haven't even come near your brand of excuse and you think, oh, that is something that I need help with, and Rebecca hasn't even touched it, talk to a counselor. Seek help. Help can help you. A counselor can help you figure out what is stopping you from working out. A counselor can help you figure out how to overcome that and how to stick to a routine. So if that is something that you're struggling with, seek support. So I'm going to stop right now and ask if there are any questions. How is everybody doing?
Okay, hi Rebecca. So
Hi.
before starting, my first doubt was this only, the motivation to start each day. So I like my every time I have excuses, I'll watch reels like Instagram, YouTube for 1 hour, 2 hour, but that's just excuses.
Yeah.
So after your session, I think that I should start it. Like the main thing is how to start, how to begin it. So that is a very big step.
Yeah.
And anything if you could guide us on the consistency. So today you told me I'll like being motivated. Today I'll start. 2 to 3 days I'll do. Again I'll stop for like a long time. Again until and unless again we go ahead and someone pushes me.
Yeah, yeah. So I think one of the things that you can do is, you can keep track of it, like I said. So mark off on your calendar, did you work out today or not? So make a tick saying that these are the days I worked. So you can see. So if you have a fitness tracker, Apple Watch, Fitbit, Garmin, or, any, doesn't have to be an expensive tracker at all. So then it'll show you the days. So I think that is something that helps me, because I have a Apple Watch and I have a phone, and it's linked to my phone. So if I look at my phone, I can see which days I have worked out and which days I haven't. And sometimes I look at it and think, oh, why didn't I work out that day? Because it feels incomplete, So whatever it is, figure out a way by which you can keep track. And then you see it as a goal that, in a month of 30 days, I'm going to exercise 24 days. So have I done 24 days? And you keep track. Is one way. There are other ways that you can look at, but it's different for different people. Different people have different motivations. And one of the biggest motivations is once you start seeing the changes, seeing your flexibility increase, seeing your fitness increase, seeing your weight go down, your size go down, you feel motivated to do more and more and more because you see the changes. And like Basanti was saying, that endorphin rush is so addictive. Once you do get into a routine of exercise, it is difficult to stop then at that point, because you feel so good with exercising. It's called a runner's high. It's known by a lot of words, but the point being, you feel super good about yourself, and you feel that it's like a drug. You feel high, you feel happy. So that is a thing that keeps you going, because that doesn't happen if you exercise for 1 or 2 days. You have to get into a routine of doing it regularly, and only then will it kick in. But once it kicks in, you feel so good about yourself, and you want that more and more and more.
Sure, I'll go ahead with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any thoughts, any questions, any comments? I have another question. I mean, I have another poll. If you can just tell me how useful this session was. So the people who are clicking on very useful, it should automatically mean that it's motivating you to make changes. Okay. So very helpful is, I'm inspired to make changes. And not helpful at all is, I still don't want to exercise. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. I really, really hope that you're motivated to make some changes. Thank you.